That's Taylor Swift. That is the man. Erica, don't put the microphone away. She's on with Taylor. Hi, Taylor. Okay, do your thing. We'll let you do
okay.
it.
Hi, Taylor. How are you?
There you go. See, look at Erica. She's receiving the incoming calls in the phone room. She's a massive fan, and she's bright red. And that, by the way, that is the man. That song, the lyrics of that song, is that everything?
Literally
that is so good.
Everything.
All right.
She's
so,
on.
Taylor, good morning.
Hi.
Erica, first of all, was so excited to take your call to put you on hold. She's a massive fan, so thank you for saying hi to her.
So sweet.
I think she's crying.
She's crying. She's crying. She's crying. We just played The Man.
Ooh, thanks. Thanks for doing that.
Of course we did. And Tanya is buffering and she's speechless. It is, I think we're all talking
speechless.
about it's like there's so much to talk about, Taylor. We need 2 days.
But Taylor, that song, truly, it is so spectacular. I have a really hard time picking my favorite songs off your albums.
Yeah.
This one speaks volumes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so happy that you put it out. I'm so proud. I hope that song just shatters everything in the whole wide world.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for saying that. And thanks for listening to the album so quickly after it came out. That's awesome.
Oh, you have no idea. We've been trading text messages for the last 3 days.
But, it's been nonstop.
But Taylor, honestly, and I'd love to hear your view on that song. I mean, we heard the lyrics, obviously. But as a man, I love hearing that song. To be honest, to hear that view.
That means that your idea on gender equality is in the right place, because if a man hears that song and feels uncomfortable, that means he's probably not the greatest feminist.
Right.
What's great is when you hear that song, and I'll look out, we do these things called secret sessions, and we have fans come and listen to the album beforehand, and it's guys and girls, and when I see the guys out there nodding along to that song, because what we need in any fight for equality in any group of people, you need people from the other side to say, yeah, you're right. You're right to want that. So anytime men are like, I love your song, The Man, I'm like, you know what? I want to give you a hug and a high five. Thanks for being on our side of this, because, asking for equality in terms of gender perception, gender equality, that's not slamming men. That's saying, can we please have the same seat at the table, finally?
And I think, well, obviously that is absolutely the right view. And I think some men may hear that and have a total perspective change, right? They'll look at things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's so sweet of you to say that. That's, that's just a dream scenario if that happened. And I think it's a song that I've been wanting to write for a very long time, because I've noticed that the sort of inequality starts at a basic perception level, where it's nothing we do is perceived exactly the same. So how are we ever supposed to ask for, equal pay, equal standing, entrance into the boys club or whatever, when nothing we do is viewed the same. So that's what I wanted to kind of go into with this song. Thank you for liking it. That's awesome.
Yes. Well, it was easy to like. And that's, what we were saying is that we were listening to all of the songs on the album, and we all have different songs that speak to us. We're all trying to guess what the next single is too. We're playing a game with ourselves. I liked Cruel Summer. I thought that was, I mean, they're all good, but that one was one I played over and over.
Paper
and
Rings.
Paper
Rings
as well.
stood out for me. Because I honestly felt the exact same way with my husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I'm like, I would marry you with, it don't need a ring. I really don't.
That's so awesome. That's so pure.
Thank you.
Pure love. It's true.
You've met him before, too. He has a crush on you.
Just pretend I didn't hear that.
Taylor Swift is on with us now. I'm curious, Taylor, and I was thinking about when you were leading up to this release, and even the times we talked to you before you had released the whole album. So it's just going back to the night, right? It's midnight or wherever you were, 9 if you were in LA, on the Friday or the Thursday, and it's released to the world. And you, just forensically, where are you? What are you doing? Are you looking at fans and reactions? What are the first 13 minutes of you in release mode in that moment?
Well, geographically, I was in New York. I was in a hotel in a room that I had like a few friends there. Jack Antonoff was there, who produced a lot of the songs on the record with me and wrote, several things with me. And then I had my parents. I had a lot of people in the management team who have been absolutely killing themselves for 6 months preparing for this release. So basically had like probably 20, 25 people in the room, and all like suddenly one person was like, no, I think it was me. I was on Tumblr, and one of my fans had been like, guys, it's on iTunes. And that happened like maybe 10 minutes early or something. And so I was like, guys, check your phones. Is it on iTunes? And they're like, oh my God, it's on my phone. It's on iTunes. Oh my God. And so we all started just like freaking out and then playing the songs on our phones, because these are songs that I've only been able to hear just me, like in headphones, never being able to play out loud on the phone for the past, year or so. So it's amazing. Like it was this incredible experience. And then all of a sudden what happens at midnight is like the reviews start posting, because these journalists have heard the album beforehand.
Right.
Secretly. So the reviews started hitting, and all of a sudden I'm like, these are the best reviews I've ever gotten in my entire career. Like, my hands were on my face. I was like fully like in shambles, just like, what is going on? And Jack was like reading like the Rolling Stone review aloud, and we were like, I was like on the floor.
Well, it's obviously it's breaking pre-sale records and sale records, and it came at a very interesting moment for you. Because it came as you've announced to the world that you're going to re-record your earlier songs after those rights were sold. And so I'm wondering, did it even have more impact because of the moment that you're going through?
I think it definitely did, and especially the fact that this is the first album that I own as my own work.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy when you create things for 13, 14 years, and then all of it sold out from under you, and then you have this new, fresh beginning, and the first chance to actually own your art that you've been making all along. And the fact that everyone's like, oh, no, this is the best thing you've made. Like, I cannot explain to you. Like, it gets me emotional even talking about it. Like, I can't explain to you how good that feels, because it's the first thing that no one can take from me. No one can sell it. It's mine.
Mm-hmm. Will you go? I know you've talked about re-recording. So where do you start? How far do you go? Are they rearranged songs? Are there new songs? Are there different songs?
Well, I have almost a year to plan and to get things, get all my ducks in a row. And I'm really going to be listening to the fans, because, there are some amazing ideas that they've had. Like, I'm always looking on Instagram and Tumblr and Twitter and seeing what they would want. Like, some of the things that they've said that are really interesting to me are like, I wrote the song Better Man for the Little Big Town.
Yeah.
Making a #1 country song and like CMA Song of the Year and stuff. Like, they took that song all the way. But I wrote that during the Red, like it was originally going to be on the Red album. So it's like the fans were like, maybe she'll put Better Man, her version, on the Red album. And I was like, that's an amazing idea. So I'm going to be listening to what they are saying. I think they want me to kind of stick to the original production a bit, like make them pretty close, because I don't think they'd want to hear like Teardrops on My Guitar, the pop version. Like,
there's the purists, right? There are purists out there that want to hear it.
Or something. Like, I think they kind of want to keep it original. And so the best part is, like, contractually, I can make them nearly identical to what they were originally, which is great.
That is great.
Well, that clarifies a little bit, because I was, seeing all this, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means, how to, and how, what a process that is.
It's a really weird part of our industry, but I'm actually really excited. Like, this whole phase of my life is very much about freedom. And the Lover album, to me, completely represents freedom to me. Yeah. Creative freedom, artistic freedom, being able to actually freely own the work that I make and put everything I have into. And so going back, now I can do that with all the rest of my albums that I've made every decision on, that I came up with every idea for. And they'll all be mine eventually, which is the most amazing thing. It's really important to me as an artist, to be able to have that moving forward.
Now, I get chills you saying that.
Yeah.
Like it's true. It's a true thing. I was watching you. What did I see you on? Was it CBS, the Sunday morning show, right? CBS This Morning on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching that. It was such a great interview, and you were talking about a lot of different things in that interview. But what you just said is more crystallized to me after even watching your body language in that interview of where you are in your life and how you're feeling. Is it harder to name an album or a song when something's new?
Oh, well, they're both pretty easy for me because this one, it's always different. Like sometimes, like with Reputation, I came up with the album name before I even wrote song number 1 for that album. But with this one, I was halfway into writing the songs before I wrote the song Lover. That's a song I wrote alone. And it was one of those songs that just somehow I just wrote this song really quickly in the middle of the night at my piano. And all of a sudden I knew that was the title of the album because I almost called the album Daylight, which is the name of another song on the record.
Oh, it's good.
But I felt like that was a little too on the nose, because Reputation was such a dark, evening, nighttime city album. And I thought that calling the next album Daylight would be a little bit obvious.
Too obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
and it's such a love album. It's an album about all different forms of love, even when love hurts. This album is about the full spectrum that love makes us feel. So I was like, this album is definitely going to be called Lover.
It's perfect.
I know.
I remember we were trying to guess it when you were on the phone with us last time, and you're the only one that knew the answer to that.
Can you give us any insight as to when the tour will happen?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not quite sure what we're doing with touring because with this album, I was so full on planning this album release and directing the videos and putting all these different clues in the videos and trying to make this album release experience the most fun one for my fans.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't want to plan what we're going to do in terms of live. And I don't want to do the same thing every time because I don't want my life to feel like I'm on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Where, because it's just, there's a lot that goes into touring that nobody knows. Like, you have to reserve stadiums like a year and a half in advance. And that to me is like a lot. Like with Reputation, I knew nobody would really fully understand this album until they saw it live. Because I knew what I had planned for it live was going to make people understand what I had made on the record. But this album's different because people are seeming to get this album on a first listen basis, which is so wonderful. I can't even tell you how much easier that is.
I think it must be almost intimidating or a little scary, frightening to think that you'd have to know what you're doing October 12th, 2021, right? At 7:30.
It's been how my life has been for a very long time.
For a long time,
and I think that in waiting to figure out what I'm going to do with touring until the album is done, obviously those meetings start literally tomorrow or something. But I don't want to feel like I have to do the same thing every single time. I definitely want to play this album live for a lot of people. I definitely want to give the fans an opportunity and give me the opportunity to vibe with them on these songs in a live setting and see them sing the words back. But I don't really know exactly what way that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And I am thinking about, you said the treadmill. Life can be like a treadmill. So when you have felt that in the past, and that can be overwhelming. When you felt that in the past, what do you do to step outside and sort of decompress? What's something that takes you away from that overwhelming feeling?
Well, for example, with this time, I've learned to have more healthy ways of communicating how I'm feeling when I'm feeling really, really kind of overwhelmed with obligations and planning and blah, blah, blah. Maybe 6 months ago, my management team came to me and they were like, hey, we've got to book the stadiums for the next tour. And I was like, guys, I just got off tour. I literally just got off tour. I literally just took my tights off and my sky hazards off from the last tour. I literally cannot do this right now. You need to give me space. And even if that means we have to do things a little bit differently, I really can't feel like my life is just album tour, album tour, album tour.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So you just need to, I think that, part of me growing up has been realizing that, like, my fans have been so generous to me, and they've given me the opportunity to be able to change things up every once in a while if it's feeling like it's too much of a pressure situation, because I never want to phone in a show. I never want to be like, this wasn't what I wanted, this wasn't what I was comfortable with. I want to give them 113% every single show. So I need for it to be in a way that feels right. And they've given me that opportunity by, continuing to support me for over 13 years now.
It's like they come back to you and they say, okay, Taylor, we just did the stadium tour. It's another stadium tour. And you say all you say. And then I would in my head go, they did say stadiums, though. They did say stadiums are always good, right? Stadiums are fun. I saw you the Rose Bowl.
Stadiums are fun. Stadiums are amazing. I love stadiums. But I just don't know if we're going to do the same exact thing we did last time.
You can't. You can't. But I thought at the Rose Bowl, I have to tell you, I think we talked about it. I didn't feel like I was in a stadium.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, any live situation that I'm going to be in, especially when Lover is an album that is so intimate. Like, this album is so personal, so detailed. It's so, like, Reputation was like very external, very loud, very, like, blasting from the speakers from the time you listen to it. This is an album that's very personal, vulnerable, emotional. And so my goal for whatever live setting that we decide to do things in is going to be to try to make wherever we are, whether it's a field or a stadium or whatever, I'm going to try to make it smaller and feel like a living room as much as I possibly can. So that's my goal. That's my objective. I truly don't know what we're doing, so I'm not, like, holding back information. I just, like, haven't had the meetings yet.
Well, we look forward to listening back to this when we know what the show looks like, and the Duraflame log and the fireplace and the coziness and all of that fun stuff.
I don't want to. It's not going to be an actual living room.
Okay, all right. Yeah, listen, I'm a literal person. Hey, thank you. I know you have a million things going on. It means a lot that you took the time today. Thanks for calling us, Taylor.
It's so great talking to you. Thank you for always being so wonderful and so supportive. And, that goes back over a decade now. So thank you for everything. I really appreciate you guys.
We love you.
Appreciate everything you do. Love you. Thanks, Taylor.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye. Taylor Swift, the album Lover, is available now. I don't know. I have had chills the whole 16 minutes of that conversation.
Goosebumps the whole time.
We're so excited.
I know. So fans are speculating that the tour would possibly start next year around February, because February is the month of love.
I know. Just talked about. She wants to talk about a tour. She wants to relax. Second date update is next. You're on Kiss FM.